This is the voice of Idaho agriculture. Each week, we bring you agriculture news and perspective. Stay tuned to this week's Idaho Farm Bureau's weekly podcast from the state capitol. Thanks for joining us. I'm Jake Putnam. The American Farm Bureau Federation applauds lawmakers' effort to modernize the Endangered Species Act. Michael Clements has more.
The Congressional Western Caucus last week introduced 19 bills that would update and modernize the Endangered Species Act. Ryan Yates, American Farm Bureau Federation Congressional Relations Director, says the ESA needs updating.
Broadly speaking, there are a number of changes that are rightfully deserved. The last time the Endangered Species Act was updated was 1988. So a lot of things have changed. The world has changed. Science has changed, and certainly wildlife management has changed.
Yates says farmers and ranchers need changes that make the ESA easier to implement.
We were thrilled that this group of lawmakers have come together to identify a number of real solutions to focus and prioritize on simple changes that can make the Endangered Species Act work better for not only species, but ultimately for state and local governments, landowners, farmers, ranchers that are looking for ways to make the Endangered Species Act work well for them.
Yates says the updates will make the ESA more effective and easier to manage.
Today, the ESA provides protections for over 1,600 domestic species. In the 46 years of the Endangered Species Act, only 3% of those species have been successfully recovered and removed from the list. And frankly, I think we can do better. I think Congress recognizes we can do better.
Learn more about the bills at westerncaucus.house.gov. Michael Clements, Washington.
The U.S. Ag Secretary spoke about increasing ag export opportunities for dairy with producers at this year's World Dairy Expo. Rod Bain reports.
Trade opportunities continue to be a focus of the dairy industry and agriculture in general. Some of those opportunities, both recently developed and potentially available, were talked about by Agriculture Secretary Sonny Perdue Tuesday at the World Dairy Expo in Wisconsin.
Japan deal will be good for dairy, beef and pork and wheat, primarily, other crops as well.
Likewise, with the pending U.S.-Mexico-Canada trade agreement,
I think it will be good, certainly in the dairy industry. I think it'll be good poultry, eggs, and others.
The Secretary remains encouraged by ongoing U.S.-Chinese talks to resolve trade differences between those nations, yet adds the need for diversification of markets for our nation's ag exports.
We're going to India, to Thailand, to Vietnam, to Philippines, Indonesia, Malaysia.
With Secretary Perdue noting recent visits to existing and potential global markets by Undersecretary for Trade and Foreign Agricultural Affairs Ted McKinney to continue expansion of ag export opportunities. I'm Rod Bain reporting for the U.S. Department of Agriculture in Washington, D.C.
A farm in Canyon County is having great success with no-till cover crops, and they're saving money and saving topsoil. Steve Ritter reports.
This is purple top turnip and Sudan grass and oats.
Brad McIntyre is talking varieties of cover crops.
This one, it has some Sudan, it's got the oats, turnip, collard, buckwheat.
Cover crops are an important part of his no-till farm operation.
The importance with cover crops is we're trying to keep the soil alive, and by doing that you need a root in the soil living. And so here at McIntyre Farms we do no-till and cover cropping, so we are able to keep the soil covered and not disturbed and a living root all year long.
McIntyre grows his own cover crop seeds and also raises seed for retail sales.
Canyon County, the Treasure Valley, is there's not very many regions in the world that can grow seed like we do here. And so we're lucky enough to be living here and being able to do that and grow a really high quality seed that's free of a lot of issues that other seeds in other parts of the area run into. And so we recognize seed is a big portion of what we need to do here on our farm to be sustainable.
At McIntyre Family Pastures, sustainability supports thousands of free-ranging chickens, laying hens who produce eggs to sell year-round. The chickens will follow the cattle across no-till, cover crop planted pastures and perform cleanup while roosting nightly in portable coops. Come on, pig! The farm also raises pigs and provides fresh pork, available for sale year-round.
And today we're we're actually starting another group of turkeys, so 200 turkeys will start as well, all on pasture.
On our last visit in June, Maria McIntyre was starting a turkey flock. And now, as Thanksgiving approaches, the gobblers are growing and also for sale by order. Visit McIntyreFamilyFarms.com for more information. Innovative farmers and stewards of the land. 2 keys to successful farming through the generations. For the Voice of Idaho Agriculture, I'm Steve Ritter.
It's fall and another change of season. And in Pocatello, it's time to hunt. At Swore Farms outside of Chubbuck, there's a chill in the air, and it's the first day of hunting. Pumpkin hunting.
We've got about 15 acres of pumpkins with over 20,000 pumpkin plants, and there are so many nice, huge pumpkins out there.
Part of the hunt involves the tractor ride to the patch. Tom Brock and his son got up early in search of the perfect pumpkin.
That's fun. That's one time a year.
And great father-son activity, right?
Oh, yes. You know, good bonding time be with the son. Too bad it's not a little nicer, but it's Idaho.
I think we have about 20,000 people come a year, run through the maze and grab a pumpkin.
Pumpkin hunting is good at Swore Farm because there's a huge selection to choose from.
We've got Jarendale squash, we've got Hubbard squash, we've got, I think we have 10 different varieties of pumpkins from, like I say, softball size up to about 75, 80 pounds.
And that means health and a lot of muscle.
What do you think, 60?
The pickings are amazing right now. We've got the wagon rides out to the pumpkin patch, and they can take a little wagon out there and get whatever pumpkins they want and then get a ride back over here.
Swore Farm's busiest season is post-harvest in the form of agritourism. And for tens of thousands of people outside of Chubbuck, the chance to find pumpkins and visit a farm during the harvest season. The Sworers found another way to make harvest pay. For the Voice of Idaho Agriculture, I'm Jake Putnam. That's it for this week's podcast. You can drop us a line on Twitter or on Facebook and tell us what you thought of this week's program. For Steve Ritter, this is Jake Putnam and the Voice of Idaho Agriculture.